We, the expatriates who come to live and work in Cyprus, are perhaps the most fanatic believers and ambassadors of Cyprus. And while Cypriots are always ruminating, doubting, thinking what is possible, we believe in a great and exceptional future for this island. You know, I'm like that movie, Die Hard. If you can imagine Die Hard number 10, 12, 14, 22, that's me. So from Singapore to United States, from Moscow to Cyprus and everywhere in between, I've started maybe over 20 ventures, invested in several things. And except that I'm not like Bruce Willis with a gun, I'm the guy with an idea. And when I have an idea, I get fanatic about it and I get obsessed with it, and then I have to implement it. And because I've worked in so many countries around the world, and I've lived in so many, I always used to ask a question. What is it that makes a place like Singapore or Dubai or Manhattan or San Francisco become so prosperous? What is the secret that makes some places click and some places just don't? And when I got that answer, and when I realized what that answer was, it blew me away. The answer was that the greatest cities and economies in the world have not been created by rich investors. All great cities and economies of the world have been created by people with rich ideas. It is the people with an entrepreneurial energy, with audacity, with courage, with a spirit that they want to realize their dreams. They come to those places that give them the opportunity to do something great, and they make those places great. In late 1980s, I started my first software company as a joint venture between Russia and India. And I used to go very often to Russian Academy of Sciences. There was a very great scientist, a nuclear scientist, Yevgeny Pavlovich Velikhov, who was almost like my mentor. And I used to go to his office on Leninsky Prospect on Academy Nauk. And one day I was sitting outside his office, I was waiting, and as he came out, he had an American guest with him, and it was Steve Jobs. So I got introduced to Steve Jobs, and he said, come to California, come and visit. So I went to California. I never met him again because he had a big career upheaval at that time. But I saw California, and I'd already had an offshore company here in Cyprus, and my first impression of California was, wow, this is like Cyprus. But in the last 25 years, California became the driver of a $4 trillion global IT industry. How did that happen? We are just as beautiful an island. We also speak English language. We are so close to the most talent pools of the world. But why did people travel 12, 14, 16 hours to California? And you know, at that time in the US, they also had like the Cyprus passport scheme, they had a US green card program. It was called EB-5. I think it still exists. It was a program by which, through investment, you could get a green card and you could become a resident. But EB-5 did not create the prosperity of United States, ladies and gentlemen. What created the prosperity in United States was a program called H-1B. When we finish, you can Google it. The result of that was 500,000 migrants from China, India, Soviet Union, Israel, went to California and created that $4 trillion industry. As a result of that, today, the 100 billion companies like Google, the CEO is an Indian. Microsoft, the CEO, Satya Nadella, is an Indian. Some of the most innovative companies in the world are based in Silicon Valley. And this is the biggest secret of success and prosperity. Attract talent and minds, not money. The second secret I learned was, think big. Manhattan is home to the world's biggest skyscrapers that scrape the sky Do you know what is the size of Manhattan? 50 square kilometers. Do you know what is the size of Monaco? 2 square kilometers. I don't even want to talk about the size of Sentosa Zoo Park and Garden in Singapore, where 5 million tourists come every year. Think big. Don't let anyone tell you that 20, 30, 50 big buildings in Cyprus are enough. How about 1,000? How about the greatest buildings in the world? But when you think big, the next secret that I learned was think small. Confusing, right? I just said think big, now I'm saying think small. What I mean is pay attention to detail. There is no alternative to excellence. We cannot have an attitude that because we have sunshine, everything will be endaxi. No, we have to add things up. There is no alternative to mathematics. There is no alternative to science. There is no alternative to strength of materials, fluid mechanics, good electrical engineering. When we build things, we must build with great attention to detail. And the fourth secret that I learned was, when you build a square meter, invest in 10 square meters in environment. If we just keep going up and we keep building buildings and we keep dumping plastic and garbage all over this island, do you think people will come here to see our garbage? The condition of our island, the most beautiful place in the whole region and possibly one of the most beautiful places on the whole world, is shocking. The condition of our waters and our seas, how they're being poisoned, is unbelievable. So it is up to us, the investors, the entrepreneurs, that every time we invest something for a square meter of construction, we must take care of 10 square meters of land and a cubic meter of water in the ocean. The fourth secret, and I'll be very quick, is, and I have learned this from my own life, it is beauty. After my visit to California, I went again 2-3 years later and drove 20,000 kilometers across the United States. I visited some great cities, I read Grand Canyon, some of the most beautiful natural wonders, and one of the cities I visited, which I completely forgot about, was a small city, something like Limassol, but no sea, no beach, no river, no mountains, no beauty, 250,000 population. The city was Kansas City in Missouri. Google it when you go back. 25 years later, this city, last year, had 24 million tourists. Do you know why? Because they beautified the city. Every street corner is a park. The front of every building is like a presidential palace. The architecture and sculptures are modern, based on Greek heritage and the most innovative ideas of our times. They created a place of beauty and people come. If we do not create things of beauty, and if we have around us ugliness, the only thing we will have is the plague of mass tourism. And trust me, mass tourism, all-inclusive tourism, is like a biblical plague. We must create things of beauty for people with a sense of beauty to come and visit this island. And finally, we have just come out of crisis. A lot of people talked about it. The one lesson that I have learned a long time ago in my life, and I always keep it a part of everything I do, is integrity. When no one is looking and when no one is watching, are we compliant with the most stringent standards of ethics? Because wealth has very long memories. You don't want 30 years from now the son of a person who invested 10 million on the island to say to the son of a developer, your papa cheated me, your papa cheated my papa. We must work with fanatic honesty and integrity and give people what we promise them, because everything else is blasphemy. And finally, I'll conclude. I'll give you a bonus. You're such a good audience. I don't know if I have time to tell another story. I don't, so I won't tell you a story. It is a beautiful story, but now you missed it. It's up to Natalia. I was driving 2 days before to Paphos, and on the highway, on the divider, I saw the best advertisement of Cyprus. That divider on the highway is a very dangerous place. Someone had gone to that divider and stuck a picture of a dog every 2 meters, and it was written, "My dog has been stolen, please call me." And people were stopping their cars and taking pictures of that. You know what it tells people? That it's an island with compassion. We have had stories of cruelty towards animals and cats and dogs on the island, and they destroy the reputation and name of the island. No one wants to do business with people and a country that does not have compassion towards fellow beings and towards creatures. So if we can bring out the best of our compassion and empathy for everybody that we share this island with, then that is the best way to attract business and achieve prosperity. So friends, pursuit of prosperity is pursuit of greatness. And to pursue greatness with integrity and compassion is the surest way to achieve it. And now I give you this wonderful panel.